off. There are several advantages with this antenna. Fed in the corner, I happen to have a horizontal, boom link here but fed in the corner, you've got vertical polarization for FM. If you want to do sideband and want to have horizontal polarization, the good thing about the quad, I could drill another couple holes here and just switch out the clamp and switch it this way, and then I'd have horizontal polarization. So it's easy. If you want to work a sideband contest or something, you can you can just change the polarization real quick. The only thing I think might be difficult for some of you, I have fiberglass mast. If you have a metal mast, I'm not sure about the interaction. You might want to make the boom a little bit longer and then mount the mast behind the reflector, and then there shouldn't be any interaction. What we're thinking about is, Scott was over the house helping me dig a hole and pour some concrete for my new tower, and he saw this and he was interested in it, and truly it does. I'm up, what, 20, 25 feet?
Is this on a tripod on the top of his house with a TV router underneath it?
And I can hit anything within 50 miles. And I estimate the gain somewhere, probably be about 12 dB over a dipole if it was made absolutely correctly, but with a little bit of error here and there, I probably don't do that well.
I think the mast on your tripod is only 5 feet. It's not even off the roof.
Yeah, but you can, we figured that we can make a project, and for you that want to do it, have an antenna project, we'd probably do it for $10. If you really want to do this, another thing you could do is most TV antennas that people are throwing away now, I've gotten some from the junkyard. They use usually 1-inch square aluminum, and that's not going to bother this antenna at all. To use, find an old beat up TV antenna and take the mast clamp off it too. And then you might be in the $5 category too. But Scott's going to see if anybody has interest in building one of these, and if so, we'll put together the things that we need to get the spreaders and everything. And someone's donating the wire. Since you said that's probably you.
Somebody donating wire?
Yeah, we got a pretty good donation of a lot of 14 gauge stranded with the jacket on it. It's pretty old. So we may have to look at the quality of the jacket, but I mean, there is a whole lot of wire, hundreds of feet of wire there.
Yeah, so we could use
Takes about 36 feet of wire for 5 element. And if you want to go 4 element, you only probably lose a dB gain. So it also can be shortened up some. But anyway, just thought Scott wanted me to show it to you. If you have interest, let him know and we'll build antennas.
questions. That sound okay? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Any interest in that? Not heard of the question. I guess we'll get on with our presentation. At the next month's meeting, if you could bring something show and tell, especially a logging program, that'd be great. The whole reason why we're doing logging programs is because I'm looking for a new one. I didn't really want to give the presentation, but I'm going to give you the one I have and why I'm wanting to change it. And then that's actually still recommended. It's just that I have a qualm with it. But if you don't mind bringing in something to share, it could be something easy. This is a little dongle I bought off Amazon. It fits the Yaesu FT-70. You can charge the FT-7 12 volts. This by putting a power pole on there and you'll be able to plug this into anything. So that's my item to share. Don't come to this meeting without bringing something to share, because what you get from this club is what you give. Nothing more, nothing less. So give. Okay. QSLs. I'm talking to a whole room of people who QSL. I know you do. I'm fairly new at it, but I'm a cheap hand. I took a picture in front of the mural downtown. It looks like I'm in a postcard, which I thought was really cool. I'm gonna pass that around. I get these printed at Walmart. They're regular pictures, and they're I put stickers on the back of them to make it more rigid. There's a bunch of murals downtown. Bing has a bunch of, I don't recommend Bing at all, but they do have a lot of really nice pictures of Evansville on it. So you could do that. When you do the Walmart one on this batch of QSLs, I didn't put a border around it. So the cut was on my picture a little bit. But if you put just a little border around that, then the cut on the picture doesn't matter. It won't cut off. But be creative on your QSL cards. Your QSL cards is commemorating a 2-minute conversation on the air, and it can last 82 years. So the best part of QSLing is the fact that it's a piece of your station going over the air to somebody else, and then you making a contact. This is a card I bought off eBay. I paid $10, I think it was $10. It's W9DGA. I think he was our first treasurer or secretary, I can't remember. His name is Clifford McGuire. He's the reason why we have a lot of our records today that's on the Internet Archives at archive.org or the Internet Playback Machine, if you want to call it that too. But I'm gonna pass this card around. This is from 1940. So just keep in mind your QSL is probably gonna survive you. I paid $10 to get that back from Kansas or someplace. There's a lot of that QSL card that I have is 6x4 or 4x6. That's the biggest postcard you can send to the Postal Service. The postage stamps for postcards is 44 cents as compared to a regular number 10, like forever. These are forever stamps as well. This is a roll of postcards things you put in make a little slot, and then you don't have to buy a little carrier for your postage. But these are forever too. I recommend the number 10s. There's a 16-cent savings if you send your QSL through the mail on a postcard instead of putting it in an envelope. I have a whole YouTube video where I did, that's the blue collar card when you send it by that. I call this the white collar card when you send a card inside an envelope. I just think that's an interesting. I like the blue collar cards because it's got the postmark. It actually survived the postal system, and you can see all the marks. You get something with the stamp on it, which I think is really cool too. If you look at Clifford McGuire's, you can see his stamp. So the envelopes, like I said, I recommend the number 10s. You can put, if you trifold these in and put 3 of these in one of these envelopes, it only takes the 1 stamp. So 3 self-addressed stamped envelopes go in one for 1 stamp. The additional postage stamps are they're right now the rabbits, they're forever too. So this is 1 ounce up to 1 ounce for 1 stamp. You can get an additional ounce stamp, which is forever. That's 24 cents extra. Those are forever stamps as well. You get 2 ounces. You can fit 6 QSL cards of mine anyway, of those pictures. You can send 6 of these in 1 envelope or 11 if you have the extra ounce. There was one more thing. Most of your QSL cards you buy online, most of the ones you're going to see are 5.43 by 3.43 inches. And the reason why I know the precise measurement of those cards is because I scan all my QSL cards and I put them on my diner frame on that video, on that monitor there. So that's in my shack. So when I turn on my shack, my QSL cards, I can bask in my own glory. So, but that changes, I think, was it every minute or so, every 2 minutes, but it changes to a new card. I just think it's neat to have that. I have a whole video on how to make that yourself with a Raspberry Pi. I tell you step by step how to go and make that. So it's plugged in with 1 plug, and it just I can take it anywhere and plug it in, and there's my QSL cards. You can see them. So I think that's fascinating. I scan them all in and put them on the Raspberry. So that's all I have. I only use the Ole Miss Bureau. If you don't know what Ole Miss is, it's the Old Man International Sideband Society net. They're a Worked All States net. They're on every HF net. Great bunch of guys and gals. You can work all your states. It's a net. You use NetLogger. And you can work all your states, and they send QSL cards to you. So if you want to do QSL and you want to do work all your states and get an HF and get an idea of what HF can do, I recommend the Ole Miss nets. It's a fascinating group, and they use the number 10 envelopes. But that's all I know about QSLing. So, and I know Dennis and Jerry have more to say. Did you want to go next? And then you're going to go over what is a QSL? Like maybe you should go first. What are you going to go over? You're going to go over Sorry, I'm not
I was gonna
prepared.
talk about QSLing, trying to get a QSL from the DX station.
Okay,
Yeah, that's.
yeah, he's gonna go to the bureau, the ARRL bureau. Do you want him to go first or second?
I can go next if you want. Okay, all right. I'm gonna blame this on, Rick. We've got to be back involved in chasing DX and going for, end countries. And I'm sure that's something that you like to do, Mark. In my experience, there are different things that you want to do to make certain you get that rare card from that rare country. One thing that I'm sure a lot of you have heard about are IRCs, International Reply Coupons, that you can send in your envelope to the DX station for the QSL card. What he will do with this is he'll go down to the post office and he'll trade it in for a stamp to put on your envelope with your card. That's an IRC. And in some countries, they'll claim that the IRC is the best way to get a QSL back instead of sending a green stamp. Do you know what I mean by a green stamp? Money. Okay, a $1 bill. In some countries, some of the Tajikistan, the stands, I'll call it, the old Russian satellite countries. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll steal your $1 bill. A dollar bill has a metallic ink in it, and you can detect that with a metal detector. So an IRC would be a better way to go than sending a dollar bill for return postage. Does that make?
It's
Okay.
also illegal to send cash by mail, right? Like we're talking about the illegal things you shouldn't do. Yeah.
I've been doing it for the last 50 years.
Oh, yeah. Everybody does. But it's not, I mean, it's just one of those fabulous laws that nobody.
Well, you had to bring that up. So what I'll do is I'll work on that. If you're paranoid about putting money in the envelope and send someone for their return QSL card, you can do something that I like to do, is you can get and buy a stamp for that country, for that person to put on their envelope. And there are places where you can buy actual stamps for just about any country around the world. I have stamps here from Germany that they can put on their envelope. Pass the IRC around too. France. You get these rare de-expeditions where, well, let's say a German will go to a country out in the Pacific, and he may request something like $3 for return QSL, but it'd be cheaper for you to actually send him a stamp in his country of origin and save yourself some money. The other thing that I do when I QSL is I take brochure and I go up to Lincoln Boyhood Home. It's one of my favorite places to go. But with a brochure and your return envelope, which he's going to put his stamp on, I usually put that inside the brochure, maybe with a couple dollars, fold it up, and that way, if anybody in the country that you're sending to would take the envelope and put it up against the lights, you won't see the dollar bill. Because a lot of these countries will do that because they know that somebody in that country is a ham radio operator and he's getting an inordinate amount of mail. And they're coming from around the world. They figured out he's probably a ham radio operator. There may be money in that envelope. So another way of hiding that. There are some countries too where it might be very expensive for someone to have a QSL card printed up. You've seen all these pretty cards and they're expensive. But you can go someplace and you can buy cards that can be filled in. And it's nothing more than just a postcard. It's got little areas in there that you can blank out and you can put down your signal report, you can put down the mode you're operating and the band you're operating on. You can buy these cards for next to nothing, very cheap. And you can put that in your envelope. And the operating ham station does not have a QSL card, they can fill these out and send it back to you and you can get credit. Oh, that's really cool. And so there's little tricks of the trade that I've learned and I've heard from other people. And that's how I try to keep my return rate up, if you will. There's been years past when I used to send out requests for QSL cards, I used to wonder why I never got one back. Sure, they were stealing the money. And so I've learned to do things like this in the long run. Does that make any sense to anybody?
Yeah.
How many people here QSL? How many send overseas for requests? You can always go through the bureau. But there are some instances where the DX station does not use the bureau. They do not use log of the world. And they want you to QSL directly to them. And if you're looking for like a rare country, like say over in Asia, or even in Africa, and they want a direct, they want you to mail them direct, this is the way to go. If you want that card, that is. Otherwise, just you may not want to bother.
I'm just curious if about the money. Did you like put aluminum foil around it and what that?
No, I don't think. But if you wanted to, I don't think I would personally do it. The other thing I do with my $1 bills is I iron them. I actually take an iron and I iron the bill to make it as flat and as smooth as possible. Anything that might tip off if there's something inside that envelope that doesn't belong there. Like a piece of paper is flat and smooth. I iron my bills.
That's probably illegal too.
He's laundering money, people.
Yes, I just want to amplify what you said. I retired out here from South Dakota, and many of the places I lived in South Dakota in my times of ministry there, I was the only active administrator in the county. And so I would get hundreds of QSL requests a year from county hunters and other people. And when you're on the other end of that, you know, it's expensive. Yes, I spent several $100s a year, you know, and after doing that for a bunch of years, I started figuring, you know, I could be putting this money into equipment. instead of postage. And so what I'm saying is to amplify what you said, always include an SASE that's addressed and stamp on it, then it makes it easy. I don't mind paying for the cards, but so many people will just send me a postcard. Even, you know, just a postcard, and then you got to do a lot of work. And not only are you spending money on the card, but even though it's just a postcard, that postage adds up when you get requests of several hundred a year.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I didn't mention that. I was mostly talking about trying to get a card from a DX station overseas. But Mark's right. After you've been in the hobby for a while, you realize that South Dakota, North Dakota is DX. And from the standpoint that there are not that many stations there. And so if you're trying to get a card from Mark in South Dakota, you should realize that he is up against it because he's getting a lot of requests, not like somebody from Indiana, because there's gazillions of us here in Indiana. So in that case, I would probably slip a $1 bill, the envelope for his card. Because it would mean that much to me to get South Dakota, because it's always been a running joke that to get WAS, if you get the Dakotas, you're halfway there. And same way with Wyoming and Montana. Yeah.
That part of Canada.
Those were my last two on satellite.
I would assume when you address your envelope and send it overseas, you don't put amateur radio station.
No, that's a very good point.
That would,
Yes, you're right. Absolutely. Don't put anything on there that pertains to an amateur radio station. A call sign or anything like that at all.
Most overseas envelopes are different paper thickness, different paper weights, because they charge for half ounce versus per ounce here. So they charge per half ounce overseas. So it's like we spend 43 cents for an ounce, they do 43 cents for half an ounce.
To your point, to get a card back from Australia, the postage there is $5. So The only reason why you might want a card from somebody from Australia is if they were a rare DX and some rare island that you may need for your DXCC to get on the honor roll or something like that, you're willing to spend $5 like I would. And Rick too. Yeah, probably more. One of the most rare countries out there right now is North Korea. There are no amateurs in North Korea that are on the air. But every once in a while, they'll allow somebody into the country to operate. And I got to guarantee you that if that person wanted $3 or $4 to return postage, you would pay it if you wanted to get on the XCC honor roll. And I only know of one person, maybe there's two in this room that have a card from Korea, and that's Rick. I think he's got two. They're very, very rare. This Rick, K9ONU, he's got one from North Korea. So
You got one from North Korea? You got one from North Korea?
It's on the watch list too.
on the van. And then for those of you that travel maybe overseas, if you wanted, say, a card from like Iran, and you didn't want to send it from this country, and you're over at another country, send your card from that country. And so it passes underneath the radar at the post office in Iran, and he sees something from the United States, say, versus from South Africa or Germany, wherever you might be, or Canada.
It's not overseas, but it's my understanding that there's a ham radio on the ISS. Is it possible to get a QSL card from the International Space Station if you can catch one of the astronauts on their free time?
I'm sure there is. I have not tried, but I bet somebody in this room may have a card.
You can. I haven't got it, but it's on the website, how to get a QSL card.
On our website?
No, not on our, but on the,
Yes.
on that website, I think it is. You may have to do it, but there is, you can get a QSL card.
They just drop it from the IS.
Yeah.
Postage is enormous.
Any questions? Oh, by the way, these brochures that are up at Lincoln Park, you can get gazillions of them for nothing. They'll just give them to you. And also at the post office, you can get these stickers that say airmail, put it on your envelope. And it's $1.40 for sending an envelope overseas. So it's almost the same, it's almost as expensive to send something here in the States. Anything else? All right.
Thank you, Dennis.
So it turns out that sending,
Hey, on the ISS question, go to the iss.org / QSL-cards.html. That's the site that you go to. It's ARRL.org. Go ahead, sorry.
so it turns out that sending a self-addressed stamped envelope like Dennis is doing has worked out to be. I've already lost my postcards somewhere around here. Jerry says he put them here, but they're already gone. Oh, there they are back there. So see, you didn't have them. All right, Jerry's up next.
Yeah.
All right, and you want to show the video or? Okay, this is Jerry, everybody. Hello.
Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry. Oh, you've been an alcoholic.
What these two have not mentioned, why do we QSL first? That's the main question. Why do we send QSL cards?
Confirm a contact.
It's proof that we make contact with the other station. Yes, you can say, yeah, I'm a log, I'm so. Anybody can write that down. But you get a card from a foreign station or another station in the United States, you got physical proof that you made a QSL with that person. And the old days, and even nowadays, hands would get cards and they pin them up on their wall or tape them up on the wall. They were known as wallpaper. And some stations got pretty colorful in their wallpaper. But anyway, that's why we do QSLing. The cost of QSL is expensive. It's getting more and more expensive. And I prefer to put the money into equipment. So I do a lot of contests, do a lot of DXing, and I've came across a way to save some money. Going through the ARRL QSL Bureau. Our QSL Bureau for District 9 is N1 DXA in Naperville, Illinois. So if you got a 9 call, that's where your cards will come from. Basically, you can send them a handful of self-addressed, self-stamped envelopes. And when they get them, they fill them out, they stuff them, they send them back to you. So it's only going to cost postage. And there you may get 5, you may get 10, you may get whatever, whatever the weight is allowed for that stamp. The other way is you can actually send them money. They say if you expect less than 6 cards per month, the cost will be 88 cents per envelope. Or $10.56 for 12 envelopes. If you expect more than 6 cards per month, then the cost will be $1.03 per envelope. If you expect more than 15 per month, it's included enough postage at 15 cents per ounce. So you can actually just send the money. They get the envelope, they fill them out, and put your name on it, address, they stuff them and send it back to you with cards in. Now, the way that works is the International Amateur Radio Union. They collect cards around the world from hams in other countries. They put them in box, send them to ARRL headquarters. They in turn send them to the different QSL bureaus throughout the country. And then they sort them and send them back to you. So we have our own little mail system, basically. I've got a video here. I'm going to let Scott show that a lady will explain. Now, this is the outgoing QSL bureau. Yes.
Okay, so I'm a WB4, but I'm in 9 country. Do I go to the 4
You
bureau?
go to the 4 bureau. If you got a 7 call, you go to the 7 bureau.
All right.
Yes.
Hit the light.
Hit the lights.
Ian Lawrence, and my call sign is Kilo Bravo 1 Delta Mike Whiskey.
As you notice her door, that was considered wallpaper.
What did you say, Jerry? I didn't hear.
On the door at the beginning, behind her, all the cards on the door, that is considered the wallpaper that hams used to put up on the room.
I like how she smiled after every card. Start chuckling at the test. But yeah, you should smile more, Jerry.
It should be nicer.
Oh, I should.
Anyway, that's one way we could save money. You may already have some DX cards in the QSL bureau. They keep them for so long, then they toss them if they don't hear nothing from a person. So, you may have some that you didn't know, and it, you don't get them. I found this several years ago, and since that time, I've been sending envelopes up and getting envelopes back. Sometimes one every couple months. All depends, like if I work a contest. I may get several back within a few months after the contest.
Okay, so I work a contest. Am I supposed to send my log to LOTW or LOTW?
Yes,
Yeah.
And then then somewhere I've got an electronic file that shows things I get, or how do I see my cards?
You'll get a confirmation. back
you
from
don't get a card
You
when
don't
you
get a card.
do the LOTW.
Is that where N3JP sends me a thing with a check mark that says you that was a confirmation of your.
Confirmation.
Confirmation,
Yeah,
that's
you
all
don't
you
get an
get.
actual card. You just get-
Okay, so there's not a card like.
No.
okay.
Yeah, it's like an EQSL or it's an electronic QSL.
And way I gather through the ARRL, once they change, you for like their awards, WAS. A WAS for LOTW is different than a WAS for the actual cards. They don't cross.
Because it's easier to get an EQSL.
So if you got so many- You got so many contacts under, say like LOTW and so many actually printed cards. They don't combine.
I think you can,
Is that right?
you can send them to, you can send paper to the bureau and it
Right.
will count.
But it don't count towards your LOTW.
Yeah,
What I heard it don't.
wouldn't know why it wouldn't. I mean,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have to verify them.
You got an ARRL card.
ARRL has to verify.
Right.
Certified.
But
Then they would count as against them.
what I've been reading is two different entities.
There's two different.
I don't think so. I think
You could have 20 physical cards in this hand and you could have 30 verified on the LOTW, the other 30 plus this 20, and you've got WAS.
Unless they changed. But anyway, he's got something else.
Is this the next one?
Yeah, this is the area, this is on the ARRL site. If you're in call area number 1, 2, 3, that's where you send your cards to, or get your cards from.
Virginia?
So if you got a 4, you go to Virginia.
There's a 7 in here. There's your 7, Mark.
They got them from Hawaii, they got them in,
There's your 3.
all of
And then here's our 9. Naperville.
These are only international cards, correct? They quit doing stateside cards years ago.
I think they have. I'm not for sure.
I'm pretty sure they quit doing stateside. That's what it was like. That's the international.
But I found they're handy to have. That's for getting cards. I got the card. That's just a small stack.
What's the other one here? What's this here?
Go to that one. No, I don't have a list.
I have a lesson. I'll tell you.
Okay, this is the incoming QSL bureau. It tells more about it. Tells how to cleaning your QSL cards through a 5x7 by 1/2 or 6x9. It's self-addressed stamp envelope to your call district. And let's see, where is it?
Where is this document? This,
This is an ARRL.
It's on a flash drive, so I don't have it on internet. I don't know where it's at.
It's on ARRL.
this is an ARRL document.
Yes,
On their website.
yes.
Okay, so if you can't see it, want to look at it closer, that's where you find
But that's about it for QSLing.
Anybody else?
It does make it easier to get cards.
I've been getting a bunch of cards lately, but they're coming via email and it'll be an attachment.
Yeah.
Yes.
All the information.
Now,
I've been getting those too, and that's That's a software by somebody in Spain or Portugal. It's becoming pretty popular. I was looking into that. So as you make your contact, it's kind of like, that works with your logbook and it sends an email out to send I think you have to buy his software, but you put a card in there and it emails it out automatically. So you don't have to, that's really handy. That's really cool.
So you got your paper cards, you got EQSL. EQSL does not count for anything that ARRL does. You got,
What's the one that the foreign people use? The O, is it QO or OP?
QRS.
Oh, QRS?
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. I ran across it just the first time with the DX station I was working about 2 weeks ago. I've never heard of it. I'm
That's-
trying to read about how it works. It seems, I don't really see what the use of it is. Maybe somebody who's using it.
Yeah, I was gonna sign up for that, but I haven't looked into it yet. But there's a lot of foreign hams getting into that as well. So
but every organization has their own structure. If you do EQSL, you go through EQSL for awards. You do ARRL, you can do LOTW or credit cards. You go through them for your awards from that through them. Yes.
You speak German and Italian?
No,
Japanese?
no.
Okay, they all speak English there?
Yes. As for talking to foreign station. Since I've been doing this since 1972, I have found that most of your amateurs speak English. I have been told by several amateurs in foreign countries that English is taught in their country because English is the language of business.
There's a saying, there's two kinds of people in the world, bilingual and Americans.
In a lot of countries, in order to get your amateur radio license, you have to be able to make a contact in English. It's part of the test.
It's a language, English is a language of business. If you're going to do business, you got to know English. What I heard.
But they speak English, not American.
Yeah.
I've always found that it's really good to go out to the QRZ.com site for a lot of these expeditions and rare foreign countries. They have a lot of specific information about how to QSL. It's a good idea to follow exactly what they say. But some of them, though they speak English, aren't always good at writing English
Right.
on these QRZ pages. You have to read them kind of carefully to kind of figure out exactly what they're asking you to do. But that's probably best policy is follow exactly what they say you want to get your card.
But, go out there. If you're not on HF, upgrade. Well, actually, technician, you can get on 10 meters for DX. Up to 28.5. So you can get on and work the sideband. And get you some QSL cards.
Yeah, and you radio though.
Huh?
You have to radio.
Yeah, but it's fun. Been in it, like I said, since 72, and I've enjoyed it. Collecting wallpaper.
What's the longest anybody here has played for a round trip QSL through the Bureau?
4 years in Russia.
Okay.
I don't think it was through the Bureau all that.
That's
I
about what
distinctly remember waiting. What the heck? Go back to the it's 4 years ago.
Yeah, at least I'm not alone, because some of them, they just don't show up for years.
I know.
That's the only downside.
Ron,
Yeah. Anything else?
Ron, QC9ONU posted on Facebook, I think it was yesterday. He received a QSL from the Titanic, some kind of memorial station, which was 10 years ago.
Holy.
Wow. He just got it in the mail yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before. I think they were a little behind.
A little bit.
But one thing on EQSL, I post mine to EQSL, but I've had a number of stations that have sent QSLs by EQSL that I never worked.
Yeah,
So they were just hoping I would add a little bit of
What happened?
log and they would be able to verify.
Now, some of these are not QSL as far as contacts. Some are SWLs.
Yeah.
Well, I've gotten some SWLs. I've sent some cards out to them. But so I've had QSLs on EQSL that I never made the contact with.
That's why I love FT8. People say you're not in my log, and I send them my FT8 log. You go into the FT8, the text all, whatever, or call, whatever it is. You go in there and I send them the whole thing. Like, yeah, you made a contact with me, all right? Hold my card.
But it's funny. Any other questions?
All right, thank you, guys.
Thanks. Next month, we're doing logging, and I'm not a logging expert, so if you use a logging software and you really, really like it, I'm gonna talk about DX Labs, DX Keepers, the log part of that. Mark is going, I'm gonna probably film Mark doing his, because otherwise you've got to bring your computer in. And you're doing which one? Amarillo Deluxe. So I'm gonna record him doing that. If you have a logging software you really, really like that I hear a lot about in 3 FJP. If somebody wants to do that or record something like on their screen showing that software, we can show that as well. But as far as doing a presentation on it, I'm just going to show you DX log, what I like and dislike about it. Yes, sir.
84 SIR,
Oh, that's fine. We're almost done. Thank you so much. Yeah. I tried to get my wife to come here, but she was like, no, she's a ham. Mark's got a wife who's a ham. Anybody else got a wife that's a ham? So there you go. You're not alone. You won't be alone. And you may use it once or twice a year, maybe. That's okay too. It's fine.
I want to say thanks.
Thank you.
Come back next month.
Good to meet all of you.
All right, guys, we still have snacks up here. If you want to, if you haven't seen our radio room, you can come check out the radio room. And anyway, thank you.
He was on the Boonville net. That's on Sunday nights.
Monday night.
Monday nights? Sunday nights. Yeah, it's on the Boonville machine. Very friendly group. They do like a question or whatever. I'll let you. Yeah, nice group. It's a nice group. If you haven't done that, Nat, go ahead and do that too.
What's their free?
47075075. Yeah. And I can hit it from the west side, so that's a pretty nice repeater.
WRIW, I'm going to end the meeting and thank you very much. See you later.
Where's he gonna talk about?
Those of you who haven't tried Morse Runner, try the new Morse Runner. Got new contests.